especially the fact that Iguodala shot it with about 5 seconds left on the clock, and the fact that he was so wide open during that possession.
Yeah, I think, we scored the basket, and look up and there's 26.4 or something left. That's a definite foul situation, right? They can hold it all the way to the end, throw it up there, hit the rim, and the horn's going to go off. I've been in that situation before. So usually under 28. If there's 28 or more, you're going to play solid defense. If it's 27.9 or under, you're not. We're trying to foul. We had a couple chances there on Draymond, I think Livingston, and then back to Draymond, and then Curry got it, and we didn't want to foul, but we put a good blitz on him. We almost made him throw it away. And I think if they're going to take a shot and give you a chance there, I'm going to probably live with the one that ended up being taken. I'm going to probably roll with that. We should have fouled before that, but like I said, he misses that. We call timeout. We go down with a chance to win the ball game, unbelievably somehow.
Steph said after the game to Doris Burke that he thought it was, in his words, disrespectful to leave a player like Iguodala that wide open. What did you think of that?
Well, we weren't disrespecting anybody. We were up guarding hard, and we put 2 on Steph, and he almost threw it right to Kawhi, right? Pretty good defense. They were scrambling around, running around like crazy, but and they found Iggy, right? They found him, and like I said, if he's gonna take that and give us a chance to get the ball back and win the game, we're gonna probably live with that. It wasn't like we were disrespecting him and not trying to guard him. We were in a trap and rotating out of there, and again, I'd like to go back and try that again about 10 times and see if one of them doesn't go our way.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks a lot.
Confirm Warriors.
Stephen A. Smith joins us now. And Stephen A., I was talking to Paul Pierce a little earlier about how championship teams create an environment where role players know their role, they excel in the role, but when more is asked of them, they step forward in that role. And we certainly saw that tonight from Quinn Cook. Boogie Cousins, who I thought was done with that injury, was fantastic in this game. What did you make of their contribution to this Warriors victory?
Well, I got to tell you, I thought that DeMarcus Cousins was the MVP of the game. What he did in the second half was absolutely phenomenal. Seemingly every key rebound he got, he took over the point forward role from Draymond Green for a chunk of the second half and had about 5 or 6 assists. Then he finished with 11, 10, and 6. He was absolutely phenomenal, particularly considering the fact that he came back in Game 1 after a 14-game playoff absence, played less than 10 minutes that game, and then showed up tonight, was inserted into the starting lineup, and nearly played 28 minutes a game. So you got to get 28 minutes in Game 2, rather. So you got to give him loads of credit for that. Quinn Cook coming off the bench, scoring all 9 of his points on threes, including 2 key threes in the second half. You got to give them credit for that. McKinney hit a shot. Obviously, you look at it from that perspective. Andrew Bogut came in and hit all 3 of his shots in the 6 minutes that he played. You just can't say enough about them. You talk about a championship squad. Just watching their fluidity, moving without the ball, hitting the open man, finding guys for open layups, stuff like that. It was just a sensational performance by the team, and it was a sensational performance by Coach Steve Kerr because he knew who to put in. His timing seemed impeccable, and on top of it all, you can't give him more than enough credit for transitioning and going big, knowing that when you start Kevon Looney in Game 1 and he's going up against Gasol and Ibaka, even though he's supposed to be a big boy, he was relatively undersized, and their girth and mass was just too much for him and Draymond Green at intervals to deal with. But by putting Boogie Cousins in there tonight and then bringing Bogut off the bench, you have big bodies to go up against them, and those 2 individuals combined for 13 points for the game. They were relatively impotent offensively, and I think that had a big reason to do with why they lost Game 2.
You know what I'm impressed by, though, is that this Raptor team, they took that avalanche, and that normally that buries many teams. They managed to absorb it, and they managed to get to a point where they very nearly had a chance to tie that game late. I just wonder, as confident as they were, Stephen A., winning 5 straight, how much does a night like this where they lose and not all of Golden State stars are on the floor, how much does that shake what they've created in terms of confidence? What's your sense of that?
Well, listen, it shakes it for some degree because when Golden State shows you that they can find a way to beat you and you're a team that struggled periodically anyway on the offensive side of the ball, That's problematic for you. The one thing they do have going for them is that Klay Thompson went down with a left hamstring injury. We know Kevon Looney had the collarbone injury. You don't know how healthy DeMarcus Cousins is going to stay, or Iguodala for that calf injury. So injuries are definitely on Toronto's side. We shall see. But based on the way Golden State played, if Golden State is healthy in any way, Toronto's in trouble.
Sure. I'm sure there'll be plenty to say tomorrow morning, Stephen A. Thanks for staying up late with me tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning, okay?
Oh, you know that.
First Take, Stephen A. Check him out. All right, Boogie Cousins standing by, getting mic'd up after a phenomenal performance. Stephen A. just said it was MVP-type stuff. We will be speaking to him on the show as we continue. From Iguodala. And that helps Steve Kerr vault up this list. As a player and a coach, the man's been involved in the finals 10 times. It's almost embarrassing. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Look at that company. He's now up to 76 victories. We welcome in Paul Pierce. And Paul, Doris was just talking about the fragile nature of the guys on the court and who is able to go and who's not. I want to ask you about a Raptors team that was cooking with gas, man. They take out Milwaukee 4 straight. They went on their home floor in this one. They're up double digits in the second, and now it's the series is tied. How fragile is confidence when you're new to this and the champs respond as they did?
I think their confidence is fractured. I mean, I think it started there in the second quarter when they had a chance to really expand on the lead. Golden State pulled it within 5. Then they came out in the third quarter, went on this 18-0 run, and that really put a dent in their confidence. When you waste a game like this, that Kawhi Leonard goes off for 34 points, 14 rebounds, you lose this game. Now you got to go on the road in Golden State where they're as tough as anybody in the NBA. They know that it's an uphill battle from here on out.
Paul, help me understand. I mean, look, you played at a star level in this league, but when you've got guys like, say, a Cook on your team, and you're a role player means you play your role. Be great in your role, right? That's the old saying.
Yes.
How do you create a culture where a guy knows his role, but then when that role changes, he's able to elevate his game to a different type of role?
Well, everybody wants more. When you win, Cook was on the championship last year team, and everybody wants more. But he has an understanding of this is what they need from me right now for us to win. And then now when guys go down, he says, okay, I'm going to get more of an opportunity. I've been waiting on this opportunity for a long time. And he steps into that expanded role, and he steps up a role that he's been wanting probably all year long. But, patience is virtue. He stepped right into that role and knocked down some key shots. I mean, he made a huge impact on tonight's game, and, that's what championship teams are all about.
Agreed. Now, Golden State's been able to figure out how to survive without Durant for the stretch that they have, including that end of Game 5 against Houston and then Game 6 on the road. They were able to get through Portland, and so far here they are with a split. But if Klay's hamstring's not right, and you got to go without him, and you got to go without KD, at some point, man, 48 minutes is a long time without those guys. Can you win a game without those guys, even at home?
You know what? After tonight, I'm not putting anything past the Golden State Warriors.
Understood.
I mean, they have the championship DNA. I feel like whoever they put out there, they can get it done. You have the 2-time MVP in Curry. You have Finals MVP in Iguodala. Cousins is starting to come around. So I wouldn't put it past them. If Klay doesn't play or KD doesn't play, Golden State is still a great team.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't just get, as a guy who's been through it, you try to play hurt, you try to come back from injuries. Boogie Cousins, I'm amazed that he's able to give them that. What did you make of his performance tonight, Paul?
It was extraordinary, to tell you the truth, because I didn't expect him to give much in this series after coming off 2 injuries in this season.
Right.
For him to have an impact, and this kind of impact in just his second game, I'm amazed. I mean, he outplayed Gasol and Ibaka together. Huge points, huge rebounds, huge defense, his passing. And, my hat's off to him because I doubted he can even help this Warriors team in this series, and he's been a big contributor tonight.
Amazing. Paul, thanks so much for the time. Good to visit, man.
All right.